My name is Bobby Maximus. This is my podcast partner, Joe Cebula. Joe, say hi.
Hi, everybody.
Just want to make sure the camera pans to you because we're obviously in different locations. And this is the Be Real podcast. And today I want to be real with you, Joe. I have a confession.
What's that?
I know I worked out 2 to 3 times a day for the last 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
I know when you follow me on Instagram that that's what you think you need to do to be fit. I know that you look at these other fitness influencers and you think you have to work out 4 hours a day and that your diet has to consist of just broccoli and chicken breast for the next eternity. But that's just not true.
Facts.
Here's the deal, Joe. I was a professional athlete for 20 years of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I still consider myself a professional athlete. Now, am I in the NFL or the NBA or the UFC anymore? No, but I just competed in my last UFC fight. I was in the Ultimate Fighter season 30. What was that, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And
already 2 years ago.
To a degree, like I was on stage at FitCon, not FitCon, the Fit Expo. I was on stage for some men's health stuff. I've been in the pages of Men's Health. I, do all kinds of various things in the fitness industry. To a certain degree, I'm paid for how I look. I'm paid for how I perform. I've taught seminars all over the world. Like fitness to me is a paycheck.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to work out 2 to 3 times a day, whether it's necessary or not, because there's a real part of my brain that believes it's tied to my earning potential, Joe.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a banker, you got to sit and do banking stuff every day, right? If you're a fitness guy, you've got to make time for that fitness stuff. That's your job.
And I really believe I can't just be a relatively fit 45-year-old. I need to be the fittest 45-year-old on the planet. So that's me. But there's a divide there because you're watching this podcast, you're watching my social media, and you're a dad who hasn't worked out in 3 years. And you're thinking, I really have to find 3 hours a day to train. And it seems like such a massive uphill climb to get to that.
I want to give just a little props to that mentality, though, before we go on, because they don't want to half-ass this process.
Yep.
I'm going to give credit to these guys. They want real fitness. They want real results. Right. They do not want to waste their time.
But here's the deal. I want you to remember, if you're watching this, you're not on stage at FitCon. You're not on stage at the Fit Expo. You're not in the pages of Men's Health. You're not on the cover of Men's Health. You're not about to step into a cage and fight or go to the World Championships for Jiu-Jitsu. You're trying to look a little better. You're trying to feel a little better. You're trying to have more energy. You're trying to be better for your wife. You're trying to be better for your kids. For the women who are listening, you're trying to be better for your husband. You're trying to be better for your kids. Like, you can make an incredible amount of progress from just a few simple changes, Joe. You don't have to go all in right away. Now,
well, and you can't. You absolutely can't go all in right away because you'll just get run over.
Yeah.
You're going to jump in. You're going to do too much. You're going to end up just wrecked. You've got to walk before you can run. And it's a lot easier to take a simpler program and be consistent with it than it is to try to just jump in and grind yourself to dust.
And start building the habits of doing stuff every day. You're not going to go from 0 to 3 hours.
And if you want to get to this point where you are working out 3 hours a day, you have to put the time in to get there, or it's never going to work anyway.
But I was saying 0 to 3 hours, Joe, that's hard. But 0 to 15 minutes, not that hard.
Yeah.
I actually shouldn't say not even that hard, because it can be hard.
Yeah, I would say I think it's harder than people realize when they start out, if they're doing the right 15 minutes.
Correct. But it's doable, right?
Yes.
So here's the thing. I want you to commit. If you're listening to this, I want you to commit to just 30 minutes a day. Our workout app, Joe, how long are the workouts in it? 37 minutes?
30 to 40 minutes.
40 minutes, 38 minutes. The odd time it's 41 minutes. That is enough if you're doing the right type of work. And you always say the one more mentality. Can you explain that to me?
Yeah, whatever you do today, your goal is one more tomorrow. Yep. So if your workout today is, I'm going to do, as many push-ups as I can, and you do 5, well, your goal tomorrow is 6.
Okay.
And when you get 6, your goal the next day is 7. It's always one more.
How does that apply to the weekly workouts? Let's say last week I worked out twice.
Then this week you work out 3 times.
And then
one
what
more.
if last week was 5 times?
Then you do 6.
Just get one more, Joe, because here's the reality. If you haven't done anything for 2 years, doing something twice this week is a huge win.
Yeah.
Doing something 3 times 2 weeks from now is an even bigger win. Like if you could just have that one more mentality, I'll be the first person to tell you, you need to exercise every damn day.
Yep.
But
it's like back here on the poster.
yeah, but 2's better than 1, 3's better than 2, 4's better than 3, 6 is better than 5, 7 is better than 6. Like it's just
and honestly, if
simple.
you come to me and I'm like, have you dedicated at least 15 minutes to your fitness every single day? And you're like, no, I can't fit 15 minutes in, 3 days a week. Then don't bother. Like, I'm not going to waste my time with you. You've got to have that established.
That much.
Yep, exactly. We've got to make time for this stuff, and it needs to be on a regular basis.
So here's your simple plan, Joe. Here's what you're going to do. So you're watching this and you're like, okay, Bobby, I get what you're saying. It's encouraging. I don't have to train 3 hours a day. I'm not a professional athlete. I'm not on the stage at the FitCons, at the Fit Expos, at the Men's Health, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What can I do? I want you to take 30 minutes, just 30 minutes every single day. Every Sunday night, I want you to sit down with your phone. I want you to go in your little calendar and I want you to mark off 30 minutes on Monday, maybe from 4 to 5 p.m. 4 to 5. Sorry, that's an hour. That's too much to ask. From 4 to 4:30. Mm-hmm. On Tuesday, from noon to 12:30. On Wednesday, 3 to 3:30. And by the way, these are hypothetical times. I want you to pick times that work for you that you can commit to. But I want you to mark off 30 minutes on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday, on Friday, and on Saturday. And I just want you to commit to showing up for yourself for those 30 minutes. What's going to happen? You're off the couch. You haven't done anything in 2 years. Day 1, you're going to go in. You're going to do some squats. You're going to do some push-ups. You're going to do some bench press. You're going to do some lat pull-downs. You're going to do some arm curls. And you know what's going to happen Tuesday, Joe? You're going to be sore. Mm-hmm. You're going to be in pain. You're going to fall when you sit down to get on the toilet. So you don't feel like working out hard. I don't want you to quit. I just want you to show up for that next 30 minutes. And what does showing up look like? All you have to do, Joe, is go for a walk.
Yeah.
Just want you to move. If you're feeling a little better than that, go for a swim. Go for a bike ride. Maybe work out again. Maybe split your workouts into upper and lower body so you can manage the soreness. Like, I don't care. But if worse comes to worse, you grab this, you put on your favorite podcast, and you walk for 30 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
And Wednesday, you're still sore head to toe. You can't believe it. That second day soreness is set in worse than it ever has in your life. Go for a walk again. If all you do is walk each day of that week for 30 minutes, at least you still showed up.
Yeah, it's so much more important that the time is non-negotiable.
Yep.
The win is showing up, because what happens is you go a little too hard on Monday and then you decide I'm going to take Tuesday off. Well, you've just given yourself permission to take days off.
Yep.
And now you've broken your consistency. And when you do come back Wednesday, Thursday, maybe Friday of that week, we're kind of starting all over. And we just keep repeating that. But you have to show up. The intensity is less important than the consistency. I try to drive that home with people. Treat it like a dentist
appointment or a doctor's appointment.
Exactly. You cannot skip it, but you get to turn the dial. All right. Turn it up, turn it down, adjust it where you need it. But when you have checked off 30 workouts in a row with no breaks, you're on to something. You have developed a new habit, and the intensity is naturally going to dial up. If your workout was as simple as, like I said earlier, just trying to do a set of push-ups, well, after a month of doing 5 push-ups every day, 5 push-ups isn't going to be hard enough to feel like you're doing it. You're going to naturally start doing 6, 7, 8, 10, 15. So you are going to start building volume. You are going to start growing. You are going to start challenging yourself. Eventually, for a half hour, you've got to hustle to try to fit in all the stuff you want to do. And at that point, you're in pretty solid shape.
That's exactly it. And I'll tell you something, Joe. You know what else I'm okay with? I'm okay with you showing up to the gym and doing absolutely nothing. There was a guy that came to a seminar once that said he would block off an hour in his calendar. And all he had to do was show up. And there was days he'd show up at the gym and he'd literally sit in the lobby because he just made a simple commitment to be there, Joe. And he said more often than not, 10 minutes would go by, 15 minutes would go by, and he'd say to himself, I'm here anyway. I might as well do something. So he'd meander back to the gym. He'd do a couple of sets of bicep curls, and then he'd go home. But at least he did something. And the fact that you just showed up means at least you're building the habit and at least you're keeping the commitment. So I don't know where you work out. Maybe it's your garage. Maybe it's your basement. Maybe it's the actual gym. But for that half hour, you report, kind of like showing up for class when there's an attendance mark, Joe. You're just showing up. Like, you're not going to fail because you didn't show up. You're just going to show up. I don't care if you sleep. I don't care if you pay attention or not. I don't care if you wiggle your arms in a circle instead of doing your bench press. Like, just show up to the thing. And if you can show up for a month straight, I think you'll be shocked at how much progress you'll make.
Yes. And how much easier it is to continue to show up when you've got that streak going behind you.
And then showing up turns into work. And then work turns into hard work. And then when you built that habit, now a 45-minute workout isn't a hard ask because you're used to doing 30. We're only asking for 15 more. Then an hour isn't an ask.
Well, yeah. And like I said, you get hungry. You're like, man, it's already been 27 minutes and there's like 3 other things I want to do. So now we've got to go to 45. And there's a big difference between showing up for 45 and not doing anything and trying to cram a bunch of stuff in 45 minutes.
Exactly it.
Very different levels of fitness.
And I'm bad for this, Joe. Like, I constantly try to lead by example, but I think it gives people the wrong idea sometimes. Like, if I'm really honest and vulnerable and try to be empathetic, I get it. You're watching my Instagram and you're thinking, there's no way I can do that. But again, understand what I said to start the podcast. You don't have to be on stage for these events. You're not in the pages of Men's Health. You're not getting judged every single day on what you can lift, how high you can jump, and how far you can run. If you're just trying to be a little better, a half an hour can completely 100% change your life. And I will tell you this to close the podcast, Joe, and I know this for a fact about you. Yes, we work out a lot, but we'd rather do 30 minutes than nothing. And there are days we only have 30 minutes. Like when I tell you I work out 2 to 3 times a day for 30 straight years, have there been days I can only train for 30 minutes or 20 minutes? Yes. But I still get it in because it's better than nothing.
Well, I've said this before, but some of my best workouts have been the shortest workouts because there's just
20
no
minutes,
time to waste.
Let's go. Let's get it done. That's it. That day that we filmed for our workout app, we didn't have time for a full dedicated workout. But in between filming exercises, do a set of push-ups. In between filming exercises, do a set of squats. At the end of the day, 200 squats, 200 push-ups, 200 sit-ups. Okay, job done. We still showed up. So that's your secret. I get that you're scared. Hours and hours and hours and hours. No. Start with 30 minutes a day, and I promise you will completely change your life. And now, a piece of advice for the fitness heads that really follow us. But Bobby, I've been showing up an hour a day for the last 3 years. Then here's what I want you to do. I want you to take 30 minutes out of that hour, and I want you to go harder than you've ever gone before. I want you to turn that 30 minutes up. I want you to really, really not just show up, but go all in for 30 minutes a day and watch how your life changes. That's it, Joe.
Sounds so easy. Sounds so simple, I should say.
Easy. That's all you got to do. That's it. If you could do that, you'll change your life. So, welcome to another episode. Not welcome. Goodbye to another episode of the Be Real podcast. Check out all of our episodes. They're all on YouTube. Like, subscribe, keep in the loop. Get the podcasts wherever you get podcasts, and we'll see you for the next one.